Dante Boxing Nation.
You got the last one right. That's the only person that can beat me, Gervonta Davis. That's the only person. Them niggas cannot touch me at all.
And,
They
and
all been in
listen,
the ring with me. They all been in the ring with me. They all been in the ring, and I cracked both of them. I cracked both of them.
Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? So that clip right there, that was Gervonta Tank Davis exploding after Blue Blood actually told him the only fighters that can beat him are Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson. And you heard how Davis responded. Now, you guys already know about the back and forth. You guys already know what Shakur Stevenson and Devin Haney said in response to this, so there's no reason to go back over that. But I will say this. Despite everything that Shakur Stevenson said in response to Tank Davis, Shakur did admit that him, along with Devin Haney and Gervonta Tank Davis, were the coldest fighters in the game, which means he's acknowledging that all three of them are the best. And if Shakur feels that way, then Gervonta Tank Davis would have to feel the exact same way as well, along with Devin Haney, right? I mention this point because I noticed when Gervonta was exploding, when he was talking about how he cracked both of them, Gervonta never said in that interview that he wants to fight these guys and he can't wait to fight these guys to prove that he's better than them. And no matter what happened in the sparring sessions, he's going to show both of these guys that a real fight is completely different. Now, Gervonta didn't say that, at least not in that interview, but shortly after that interview, he did go on his Twitter and he did say, ain't no more talking. After these two fights, tell their promoters, let's make something happen. I think Gervonta is completely sincere when he says that. You know, before he said this, the only time he had ever voluntarily called out fighters was when it came to Manny Pacquiao and Ryan Garcia. I believe Gervonta, he called out Manny Pacquiao after the Adrian Broner win or the Keith Thurman win. And I believe that was the right move. You know, him calling out Ryan Garcia and Manny Pacquiao, it made all the sense in the world. Because once again, if Black Americans are the most dominant fighters in the sport of boxing, and they will often be rooted against when it comes to non-Black fans, it makes sense for them to go ahead and fight all of the fighters that those racist fans are going to root for first, before Team USA starts to eliminate Team USA. See, when it comes to boxing, America is nothing like the UK. Because when it comes to the UK, those boxing fans, they will be loyal. They will root for their fighter, regardless of his skin complexion, as long as he's from their country. In America, it is the complete contrary. We know if Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson, or Gervonta Tank Davis was to fight Lomachenko next, we know who these type of fans are going to root for. So once again, this is why it makes sense for them to go after those fighters first. The only reason you ever hear these type of fans say, I want to see Shakur fight Devin, I want to see Devin versus Gervonta Tank Davis, the only reason they say this is because they're looking at it as the lesser of two evils. They know them fighting against each other, it guarantees that one of them will leave with a blemish on their record. Because see, if these fans only wanted to see these fights because they just want to see the best fight the best, then they would have been praising these fighters as if they were the best way before there were any talks of them fighting against each other. Instead, these same fans, they discredit these fighters often. You read the comments on the internet when it comes to videos about Devin, Shakur, or Tank Davis, the comments from these non-Black fans are always negative. And this obviously proves this has nothing to do with which fighters have power or which fighter is more exciting, because Gervonta Tank Davis receives just as many negative comments as Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson does. And he's the most exciting fighter in the sport of boxing today. I mean, I get these type of fans in my comment section every once in a while trying to justify why they personally don't like Devin Haney or even Gervonta Tank Davis. And then in the same post, they'll start telling me why they like Lomachenko and why they don't like Devin Haney, Gervonta, or Shakur Stevenson. But then they will still say they want to see Devin Haney fight Shakur. They want to see Shakur fight Gervonta Tank Davis. And I've asked a couple of them. I said, if you like Lomachenko, you should want to see Lomachenko fight one of these guys. I mean, that's the beauty of the sport, right? You got a guy that you don't like, so what do you often do as a fan? Or at least, what does a real boxing fan do? He pushes for the fights that involves his favorite fighter, hoping that his favorite fighter will beat that fighter that he does not like. But these fans, they won't do that. You know why? Because they want to see the two guys that they don't like fight each other while their fighter stays protected. Because the last thing they want to see is their favorite fighter losing to someone on the coincidental list. And for my new subscribers that asked the question, what is the coincidental list? Well, it is the fighters that coincidentally get treated the same way and coincidentally look the same by these race fans that I'm exposing right now. So we know what time it is. Now, assuming that Gervonta gets past Hector Garcia and Ryan Garcia, which will not be an easy task, I believe Gervonta when he says he wants these fights afterwards, talking about Devin and talking about Shakur Stevenson. I think Shakur is more realistic because Devin is moving up to 140 and Gervonta is fighting Ryan Garcia at 136, which leads me to believe that Gervonta probably feels after he moved up to 140 to fight Mario Barrios, that was a little bit too much weight for his frame. So there could be a serious buildup towards a Gervonta Tank Davis versus Shakur Stevenson fight, which would be huge. I just hope for Shakur Stevenson's sake, he can get some of these guys in the ring with him before a possible fight with Tank Davis. Because you guys probably know, Shakur is starting to become the most avoided fighter in the sport today. And I'm going to bring up this point again because I want to respond to something someone said in my comment section. I told you guys, don't you find it ironic that out of Devin Haney, Shakur, and Gervonta Tank Davis, clearly Shakur and Devin Haney, they don't have anywhere near the type of power that Gervonta Tank Davis has. But yet, the most avoided fighters are Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson and not Gervonta Tank Davis. Now, while Gervonta Tank Davis, Shakur Stevenson, and Devin Haney are the LeBrons, the Kobes, the Jordans of the sport, we know that Shakur Stevenson is usually the one that's projected to go the furthest. They see him as becoming the #1 undisputed pound-for-pound champion. At least that is the perception by many. But the fact that Shakur Stevenson is far more avoided than Gervonta Tank Davis is a clear indication that opponents are more worried about the skill set than the actual power. I had one guy in my comment section say they want to fight Gervonta because they feel they're going to get the biggest payday. That's not necessarily true because we know going all the way back to Lomachenko years back, Lomachenko, he always was targeting Gervonta Tank Davis. Before Gervonta Tank Davis was the biggest American draw in the sport of boxing. Loma always wanted to fight Gervonta Tank Davis. He never wanted to fight Devin Haney. Despite the fact that Devin Haney was a bigger draw than Teofimo Lopez was, and still is today. Loma chose to fight the guy that was going to pay him less money than he's about to make right now in this fight against Devin Haney. Loma vacated his title to avoid Devin Haney when he would have made more money fighting Devin. And the reason why we know Loma would have got paid more is because Devin was making like 5 times more the amount that Teofimo was making in his fights. Not to mention, Devin, he was headlining on all of his cards. He was the main event. Now, when it comes to Shakur Stevenson, we all know William Zepeda. He just turned down a fight with Shakur Stevenson. That would have been William Zepeda's biggest payday. He would have got a bigger payday fighting Shakur Stevenson than he got fighting Jojo Diaz. Not to mention, he also would have got a guaranteed shot at the title if he could beat Shakur Stevenson. Canelo Alvarez turned down the biggest offer of his career. He was offered to fight Jamal Charlo and Errol Spence, or Jamal Charlo and David Benavidez. And Canelo Alvarez, he turned it down. He was willing to make less money. We know Canelo would have made 5-10 times more fighting Jamal Charlo or even Demetrius Andrade than fighting Abney Yildirim. Virgil Ortiz is another one. If this was about getting the big payday, Virgil Ortiz, he would be going after Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford right now, and even Jaron Ennis, instead of going after Stanionis or whatever his name is. And I've already played the clip for you guys many times where Ryan Garcia, he had said on multiple interviews that he felt out of Devin Haney, Gervonta Tank Davis, and Teofimo Lopez before Teo lost to Kambosos, he said that he believed Devin Haney would be the most difficult challenge. He would be the hardest guy to beat. The guy who has the least power compared to Gervonta Tank Davis. So when you listen to what Ryan Garcia said and you look at all of the receipts that I presented when it comes to fighters that have often turned down the bigger payday and took a smaller payday, they're avoiding these fighters because they feel that they're harder to beat. That doesn't guarantee us that Devin will beat Tank or Shakur will beat Tank. I mean, the fight could play out completely different, but these other fighters, for whatever reason, they clearly believe they have a better chance of beating Gervonta Tank Davis than Shakur Stevenson or Devin Haney, for whatever it's worth. But this is the reason why we have the fights. And once we get one of these super fights, then we will know for sure who is the best out of the three. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one.
All right, now check this out, guys. If you're looking to repair eczema scars, burns and bruises, dark spots and blemishes,
Fever blisters, diabetic ulcers.
this right here is the perfect product for you guys. It's called Elo Key Face and Body Oil. Athletes and top-ranking boxers, they're also using it after training to reduce swelling, inflammation, and to ease the pain. So get yours today. Go to elodekey.com.
Like them on Facebook and follow them on Instagram.
Let me tell you guys about Issa Israel Law Firm. It is a full-service legal practice based in Denver, Colorado, an emerging hub for combat sports and high-altitude training. If you're a fighter inside or outside of the ring and you need a law firm you can trust to fight for you, visit thefighterfirm.com or email help@iilawfirm.com. Legal representation is usually limited to plaintiffs and defendants in Colorado, but iFirm can help anyone in the world with trademarking their business name, logos, and U.S. immigration issues. This brother has been my attorney for a while and helped guide me through all kinds of business and civil issues, so make sure you guys go to thefighterfirm.com.